It usually starts at 2 in the morning. The house is quiet. The world is asleep, but you are wide awake. You are awake because your feet are on fire. You kick off the bed sheets because even the weight of a cotton sheet feels like sandpaper rubbing against a raw wound. Or maybe it is not fire. Maybe it feels like ants are crawling inside your skin, 1,000 tiny electric bites that never stop. Or maybe it is the opposite. Maybe your feet feel like blocks of wood, cold, heavy, dead. You touch them with your hand and they are warm, but to your brain they feel like they are frozen in ice. If you are over 65 and this sounds familiar, I want you to listen very carefully. Your doctor might have told you this is just peripheral neuropathy. They might have told you it is a normal part of aging. They might have given you a pill to dull the pain and sent you home. But they did not tell you the most important part. Your nerves are not just misbehaving, they are dying. The pain you feel, the burning, the tingling, the electric shocks, is the biological equivalent of a scream. It is your nervous system telling you that it is under attack, and if you do not stop the attack, the screaming will eventually stop. But not because you got better. It will stop because the nerves are dead. And once they are dead, they do not come back. To understand what is happening inside your feet right now, we need to look at the anatomy of a wire. Imagine the electrical cord of a lamp in your living room. Inside that cord, there is a copper wire that carries the electricity, but that copper is wrapped in a thick rubber coating. This coating is insulation. It makes sure the electricity goes straight to the bulb and doesn't leak out. In your body, your nerves are the copper wires, and they have their own rubber insulation. It is called the myelin sheath. When you are young and healthy, this myelin is thick and strong. Signals travel from your toe to your brain at 200 miles per hour. You step on a pebble, you feel it instantly, and you adjust your balance. But for millions of seniors, something is eating the rubber. Something is stripping the insulation off the wire. And when a live wire is left naked, two terrible things happen. First, you get a short circuit. This is the burning. This is the electric shock pain. Your nerves are firing randomly, sending panic signals to your brain even though nothing is touching you. Second, and this is much more dangerous, the signal gets lost entirely. This is the numbness. I want to tell you about a patient named Frank. Frank was 68. He was a retired engineer. He didn't have foot pain. He had something worse. He told me, "Doctor, I feel like I am walking on cotton wool. I can't feel the floor." Frank had to look down at his feet when he walked. Why? Because his brain wasn't receiving any data from his soles. He was piloting his body blind. 2 months before he came to see me, Frank stepped out of the shower. He thought his foot was flat on the tile. It wasn't. It was slightly twisted. He couldn't feel the angle. He put his weight down, his ankle collapsed, and he shattered his hip. That fall ended his independence, and it all started because the wire in his foot had lost its insulation. So, the million-dollar question is this: what is eating the insulation? If you don't have diabetes, why are your nerves dissolving? The standard medical answer is idiopathic neuropathy. That's fancy medical Latin for "we don't know." But that's a lie. We do know. We know exactly what dissolves myelin. It is usually one of two things: a sticky poison that you are eating every day, or a hidden starvation caused by the very medicine cabinet that is supposed to save you. Let's start with the poison, because most of you are drinking it for breakfast, thinking it is healthy. Let's look at the caramelization of the nerves and why fruit juice is a weapon.
Drinking it for breakfast, thinking it is healthy. Now, let's look at the chemistry of destruction. You have been told your whole life that sugar is bad for your teeth. You have been told it makes you fat. But nobody told you what sugar does to your nerves. Even if your doctor says your blood sugar is normal, even if you are not diabetic, your nerves might be drowning in syrup. This process has a name. It is called glycation. And to understand it, I want you to think about cooking an onion. When you put a raw onion in a frying pan with heat, it turns brown. It gets sticky. It caramelizes. That is sugar binding to protein. The heat fuses them together, and the soft, flexible onion becomes a stiff, sticky mess. Inside your body, your nerves are made of protein, and every time your blood sugar spikes, every time it shoots up rapidly, you are essentially frying your nerve endings. Sugar molecules float through your bloodstream and stick to the outer coating of your nerves. They form a crust, a hard, brittle shell called an advanced glycation end product. The acronym is AGEs, which is appropriate because it literally ages you from the inside out. When your nerves get crusted over with sugar, they lose their flexibility. They cannot conduct electricity properly. They start to short circuit. This is the burning sensation. It is the feeling of a caramelized nerve trying to send a signal through a sticky blockade. So where is this sugar coming from? You might say, "Doctor, I don't eat candy. I don't drink soda." And I believe you. But let me ask you about your breakfast. Do you drink a glass of orange juice? Do you have a healthy fruit smoothie? Do you eat a bowl of oatmeal with honey and banana? If the answer is yes, you are drinking pure liquid nerve poison. Here is why. When you eat a whole orange, it has fiber. The fiber acts like a sponge. It slows down the absorption of sugar. It trickles into your blood slowly over 2 hours. Your nerves can handle a trickle. But when you squeeze that orange into juice, you throw away the fiber. You are left with pure fructose and glucose. You drink it in 2 minutes. It hits your stomach, bypasses digestion, and rockets into your bloodstream like a missile. Your blood sugar spikes vertically, and for the next 2 hours, your delicate nerve endings are bathing in acid. They are being caramelized. This is why so many healthy seniors have neuropathy. They think they are doing the right thing. They think natural means safe. But to a nerve cell, sugar is sugar. Whether it comes from a candy bar or a glass of organic grape juice, the chemical burn is exactly the same. The spike is the enemy, and the liquid form is the weapon. So rule number 1 for saving your feet is simple. Stop drinking your sugar. If you want fruit, eat the fruit. Chew it. Let the fiber protect you. But never, ever drink the juice, and never eat a carbohydrate naked. If you eat a piece of toast, put butter on it. Put an egg on it. The fat slows down the absorption. It acts as a buffer. It turns the missile into a gentle wave. But stopping the sugar is only half the battle, because there is another enemy, a silent thief that is stealing the very raw materials your body needs to rebuild the wire. And the terrifying part is, this thief is probably sitting in your medicine cabinet right now. It is a pill you take every single day to protect your stomach. But while it protects your stomach, it is starving your nerves. Let's look at the hidden starvation and the danger of common medications. While it protects your stomach, it is starving your nerves. The Riva Revolta. You have stopped the sugar. You have stopped the fire. But your feet are still numb. Your balance is still shaky. Why? Because the wire is still stripped. The insulation, the myelin, is gone. And to rebuild it, your body needs a very specific raw material. It needs vitamin B12. But not just any B12. It needs it in a massive quantity. And here is the terrifying truth. You are probably starving for it. Even if you eat meat, even if you take a multivitamin, You are starving because your stomach has been chemically blocked. Let's look at the medicine cabinet of the average 70-year-old. What do you find? You find a little purple pill for acid reflux, Omeprazole, Nexium. You find a pill for blood sugar, Metformin. These drugs are miracles for their specific jobs, but they come with a devastating price tag that nobody talks about. They destroy your ability to absorb vitamin B12. Think about your stomach acid. You are told acid is bad. You are told to suppress it. But acid is critical for one thing. It rips vitamin B12 out of your food so your body can use it. If you take an acid blocker every day, you have no acid. You can eat a steak full of B12, but it passes right through you. You absorb zero. Metformin does the same thing in the intestines. It blocks the absorption door. So you take your medicine and your B12 levels slowly crash, month by month, year by year. Your nerves get hungry, then they get desperate, then they start to die. And the first place they die is the furthest point from the heart, the toes. This is why so many people on acid blockers develop neuropathy after 5 or 10 years. They think it is just aging. It is not aging. It is malnutrition. It is a chemical blockade. So what is the solution? Do you stop the medication? Absolutely not. That could be dangerous. You bypass the stomach. You need to get the B12 directly into your blood. But here is where most people fail. They go to the pharmacy and buy a cheap B12 supplement. They look at the label and it says Cyanocobalamin. Do you know what cyano stands for? Cyanide. Yes, the poison. It is a tiny amount, but your liver has to work hard to detoxify it before it can use the vitamin. If you are over 60, your liver is already tired. It doesn't need extra work. Most of that cheap B12 ends up in your urine. It does nothing for your nerves. You need the bioactive form. You need methylcobalamin. Methyl means it is already active. It is ready to go to work. It doesn't need the liver. It doesn't need the stomach acid. You take it as a sublingual drop or a lozenge that dissolves under your tongue. It goes straight into the bloodstream. It goes straight to the nerve endings. It is the raw material for new insulation. I have seen patients, people who couldn't feel the carpet under their feet, start taking high-dose methylcobalamin, and within 3 months, the feeling comes back. Not all at once. It starts as a tingle, then an itch, then a temperature sensation. That is the wire healing. That is the insulation growing back. So here is the recap of the hidden starvation. Your stomach pills are blocking the fuel. Your cheap vitamins are useless. Your nerves are dying of thirst in the middle of an ocean. Now let's put this all together into a simple, actionable protocol. How do you stop the burning tonight? How do you wake up your feet tomorrow? Let's look at the insulation protocol and how to regain your balance.
How to regain your balance. The protocol. We have identified the enemy. Now we fight back. You don't need expensive surgeries. You don't need painkillers that make you drowsy. You need to stop the caramelization and rebuild the insulation. Here is the insulation protocol. 3 steps to save your nerves. Step 1. The liquid sugar ban. This is non-negotiable. If you want to keep your feet, you must stop drinking fruit. No orange juice, no grape juice, no healthy smoothies full of mango and banana. If it pours, it poisons. When you drink sugar, you create a spike that burns the nerve endings within minutes. Instead, eat the whole fruit. The fiber is the antidote. And never eat a carbohydrate naked. If you have a piece of bread, put butter on it, put cheese on it. The fat slows down the absorption.
It protects the wire from the surge. Step 2. The B12 bypass. If you take medication for acid reflux, omeprazole, or diabetes, metformin, you must assume you are B12 deficient. Standard blood tests often miss this. They measure total B12, which includes the inactive kind. You need to bypass your stomach entirely. Go to the health store or ask your doctor for Methylcobalamin, not Cyanocobalamin. That is the cheap stuff. Look for methyl. Get it in a sublingual form, a lozenge that dissolves under your tongue. This sends the repair material directly into your bloodstream, skipping the stomach blockade. It is the only way to feed a starving nerve. Step 3. The sensory awakening. Nerves follow a rule: use it or lose it. If your feet are numb, your brain stops listening to them. You need to remind your brain that your feet exist. Every morning, take a rough towel or a soft brush and gently stimulate the soles of your feet for 2 minutes. It might feel strange. It might tingle. Good. That is the signal trying to get through. You are waking up the connection. You are telling the brain, we are still here. The conclusion. I want you to imagine something. Imagine walking across a cool tiled floor in the morning. Imagine feeling the cold against your skin. Imagine stepping on a small pebble and knowing exactly where it is without looking. That is not just sensation. That is independence. That is the difference between walking with confidence and walking in fear of a shattered hip. Your nerves are not dead. They are dormant. They are waiting for you to stop the sugar assault. They are waiting for the B12 raw materials. They are waiting to come back to life. The burning sensation you feel at night, that is not the end. That is a distress signal. Answer it. Don't accept it's just aging. It is not aging. It is biology, and biology can be fixed. Start tonight. Put down the juice, check your vitamins, and save the wire before the light goes out forever.